Ah, yes, our glorious overlords at the NCAA lay down a fitting and deserving punishment to Texas A&M football and Jimbo Fisher for recruiting violations. I'm going to read this article talking about these violations and what the punishment was, as long as some of the hypocrisies that the NCAA itself is dealing with. But before we get into that, if you could you like the video? Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell to make sure you get notified every day at 4 o'clock when these videos come out. And if you enjoy the content, be sure to share it on social media to try and get the word out there. So let's dig into this article from Yahoo Sports. Texas A&M hit with NCAA violations. Jimbo Fisher given 6 months show cause. Texas A&M head coach Jimbo Fisher has been hit with NCAA violations, including one involving recruiting. The NCAA announced Thursday that the Aggies program, including Fisher, violated rules between January 2018 and February 2019. Jimbo was hired at A&M in December of 2017. So they're saying essentially as soon as he got there, he was doing this. Via the NCAA's negotiated resolution process, the NCAA, Texas A&M, and Fisher agreed that Fisher and an assistant coach had impermissible recruiting contact with a prospect at a high school. The conversation was impermissible because it occurred before the completion of the prospect's junior year in high school, the NCAA said. So apparently Fisher and the coach were going to meet the head coach of the high school and bumped into this prospect. At least that's what the word is. I don't know how much you can believe the Twitter sphere out there. And they had a small conversation with the recruit. So real big violation right there. The program also violated countable athletic-related activity rules by unintentionally causing football players to exceed activity time limits by approximately 7 hours during the spring and summer activities. So it was apparently over a 7-week period. They had an hour extra practice each week throughout the week. So 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there throughout the week, led up to an hour each week over 7 weeks. Like, oh man, they're really... We got them. NCAA's got them. These are the bad boys acting out there in college athletics by having the players go over a little bit. Let's continue. The NCAA ruled that Fisher violated its head coach responsibility rules by failing to promote an atmosphere of compliance because of his personal involvement in the recruiting violation. Per the NCAA, Fisher also failed to monitor his staff when the program exceeded countable hours. As a result, the NCAA gave Fisher a 6-month show cause penalty from the NCAA. The terms of the show cause order include a previously served 9-day ban on phone calls, emails, or texts with prospects in January of 2020. To be fair, not much was going on in January of 2020 anyway, with Corona just starting to come about, so not a huge deal. A reduction in off-campus recruiting contact days by 3 for the December 2019 through January 2020 contact period. Again, maybe a little. 3 days ain't going to kill you. A ban on all off-campus recruiting activities for the fall of 2020 contact period. Additional one-on-one rules, education, and public statement from the head coach addressing the violations. Again, don't know how much one-on-one contact there's going to be in the fall of 2020 with everything going on, so... Not the worst time to have these things coming down. In a statement, Fisher said, as Texas A&M's head football coach, I am responsible for promoting and monitoring for NCAA compliance in our program. While I am disappointed in the violations, including an unintended one that resulted from a conversation with a high school athlete, this is still my responsibility to ensure we are adhering to each and every rule. I am pleased to have this matter completely behind our program and look forward to continuing our efforts to make every aspect of our program one all Aggies continue to be proud of. Nice down. Texas A&M hit with level 2 violations. The program, along with Fisher and the involved assistant coach, identified by A&M as Jay Graham, now the running backs coach at Tennessee, were all hit with level 2 violations that come with an array of penalties in addition to Fisher's show cause. Those include a 1-year of probation from July 2nd, 2020 to July 1st, 2021, a $5,000 fine, a reduction of football official visits by 17 days during the 2019-2020 academic calendar, an off-campus recruiting ban for the entire A&M staff for all of November 2019, which reduces permissible evaluation days by 19 for the 2019-20 academic year, a 7-day off-campus recruiting ban for the football staff during the spring of 2020 recruiting period, a 10-day off-campus recruiting ban for the football staff during the fall 20 recruiting period, and a 6-month show cause penalty for Graham. Additionally, the Aggies were forced to end their pursuit of the involved recruit. The program is barred from recruiting prospects from that high school for the 2019-20, 2021, and 2021-2022 academic years. Fisher was hired by A&M in December 2017, given a $75 million contract. We know that. So, again, these aren't the biggest things. The 1-year probation is a little bit of a cause for concern, so we got to behave ourselves over this next year recruiting-wise. You lose a little bit on the recruiting front compared to every other program and what's going on there, so you can't mess around and do the nonsense that I'm going to go over that everyone else is doing. But overall, not bad. No postseason ban, no loss of scholarships, which would have really hurt. So all in all, a kind of slap on the wrist. Let's see. Since I arrived at Texas A&M, I've seen up close and personal Coach Fisher's commitment to integrity and following the rules. I appreciate his response, including actions taken during the process itself, Texas A&M Athletic Director Rosh Bork said. As a result, the program moves forward and remains on track in both our short and long-term quests for excellence. This will have no impact on our current or future student athletes, the 2020 postseason, or our pursuit of championship success on and off the field. Okay, so this man, let's go into this. The NCAA, the man who handed down the punishment, this man right here, Stan Wilcox, normal-looking guy, Executive Vice President of Regulatory Affairs. Well, this man right here was the athletic director at Florida State when Jimbo Fisher was hired away from them as the head coach. So let's just say it's not a neutral arbiter of this punishment right here. As I'll show in this article right here, Personal Dynamics from Tallahassee Democrat. Internal friction between Florida State football coach Jimbo Fisher and key stakeholders in the athletic program will likely be a key factor in his ongoing stay-or-go saga, according to multiple sources close within the university. The football coach has 3 key relationships. One of those sources says the president of the university, the athletic director, and the president of the boosters. Only one of those is healthy. Maybe it was the athletic director. I don't know. Sounds like Jimbo burned a lot of bridges when he was at Florida State. He was demanding of them to update their facilities and get them built, but they ran out of money and they weren't getting them built fast enough to keep up. So let's just say they didn't end on good terms. But yet this man is totally neutral in his overseeing of the punishment and laying down the rules for bumping into a high school student and talking to him, and 7 extra hours of practice when we got $100 handshakes going around. I mean, you just scroll through Twitter or Reddit, look at the stuff that's rumors that are about there. Dabo allegedly funneling money to his players through his church and stuff like that. So it's just comical, the nonsense they go through. Look at NCAA fractions against Kansas. They need to be resolved by an independent panel because we know that's not going to be neutral. Indiana self-reports 38 violations to the NCAA. Oregon reports 5 secondary violations for 2019. Zion, an ex-agent, repeats claims of NCAA violations. His attorney says they're baseless. Zion allegedly got paid to go play at Duke or whatever. Oklahoma State hit with 1-year postseason ban for the FBI investigation with payers being played by Adidas. That goes into the Kansas case right there. And then, so all this, all minor programs, Zion maybe, Duke, pretty major program, but that was reported by his agent. It wasn't like the NCAA did their own investigation. So they do all these small little looks into programs, slap them on the wrist. Well, we have massive pay for players and improper benefits going on in all the major sports in college football. It's well known by everybody. And NCAA puts up this facade of, the arbiters of amateurism, and it's just hilarious. Like, let's look at the no, not that. Let's go look. Here's the NCAA. They made over $1 billion in revenue last year. Yeah, sure, they had $1 billion in expenses, but they have $400 million in net assets. And let's see, President Mark Emmert makes almost $4 million in salary to do what? Be the face head of this nonprofit organization that generates billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars maybe, across the country using free labor. Donald Remy, the vice president, makes over $1 million. Oliver Luck, Andrew Luck's dad, makes almost $1 million. Mark Lewis, who works 0 hours as a former key employee, makes over $700,000. So it's just hilarious that they want to lay down these rules, enforce the most ridiculous and stupid things all the time, but yet they get paid all this money, players don't get paid things, and there's real going-ons out there, but they put up the facade of amateurism and we're enforcing the law by laying down these bans. All in all, it's not really a big deal for A&M, like I said. No postseason ban, no loss of scholarships, on probation, so gotta behave yourselves, but it's just they're just releasing this for headlines and clicks and to act like they're doing their job when everyone knows they're not. So I think that's going to do it for us today. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, like it, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and share it on social media to get the word out there, and I will see you all tomorrow.